Hey everyone, welcome to the channel and another review. I just got back from seeing Memory at the theater, so let's talk about it. In this movie, an assassin for hire finds that he's become a target after he refuses to complete a job for a dangerous criminal organization. A remake of the 2003 Belgian film The Memory of a Killer. So my background going into this movie was pretty much non-existent. I, looked and saw what was playing in theaters this weekend to see, what I was going to go see. Saw that this movie had Liam Neeson on the poster. It was called Memory, and yeah, not much else was coming out this weekend of note. So yeah, this was one of the three new things that looked like it was available to go see in the theater. So I put it on the list. I didn't even watch a trailer or anything. Mainly just because, I go to see as many movies as I can, but there weren't ones to choose from necessarily. There were just three new ones out this weekend, so I figured I'd go see it. And yeah, I haven't seen any advertisements for this in front of movies up until now. So I literally went in blind. I assumed it was going to be a pretty typical Liam Neeson sort of movie, that like the ones we get these days. But yeah, literally went in blind. So with that, let's talk about what I thought about the movie. And to start off, we will talk about what I liked. I did like a lot Liam Neeson in this movie. I thought he played sort of this old, broken, having trouble with memories, sort of hitman, very, very well and very believably. I thought, yeah, he definitely seemed like he could do sort of the physical and action stuff that he needed to. But at the same time, yeah, he's definitely past his prime and feels like he's, coming to the end of being able to do what he's doing. So I thought he portrayed that very well. And then, yeah, coming into it blind, had no idea who else was going to be in this. So it was nice to see Guy Pearce show up. I thought he also played his character very well. Not necessarily like the most likable character, but, came across as a fairly capable FBI agent, one that's good at his job. But yeah, not going to be, one that I'm necessarily rooting for, mainly just because yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, you kind of are throughout the film. And this gets to one of the other things that I liked about the film, which is that there aren't really any heroes. Like, even, like, the people who are the heroes, like the good guys, the FBI and the police, none of them are all that likable, at least not for me. And there's also just varying degrees of competency among them, like so much so that you're curious whether they're incompetent or crooked or maybe a bit of both. So there is that, and then obviously you've got, Liam Neeson as the main character. He's not, yeah, like in a lot of his movies, I feel like he used to be a hitman, but now he's, retired or that sort of thing. And he has that in his past, but he's now like more or less relatively good person. But that's not the case here. He's like straight up just, gun for hire, who has a line that he won't cross, but that doesn't really make him a hero. He's kind of an anti-hero. Like, we're following him. He's the main character. And yeah, so I thought that was kind of a fresh take, but it gets it to the point where I wouldn't say like the movie could be enjoyable because there's none of the characters that I really liked. So it's not necessarily enjoyable in that sense. Other things that I liked, the very last scene, just kind of out of nowhere, music starts playing. Like, I don't think there's a soundtrack throughout the whole film, more or less. At least I didn't notice one. Maybe it was just very subtle, but I don't think so. But in the last scene, we get this sort of piano-based soundtrack, and since it kind of comes out of nowhere, I really, really appreciated it, and I thought it, fit the scene very well. And then a couple other things. There's a few things that they're not necessarily twists, but there's a few plot developments where they don't like fully explain it, and like at least not at first. But they have clues. So I was able to figure out a couple of those beforehand, like before they fully explained it, and so that was kind of rewarding for me. It made me feel a little bit smart for kind of seeing those details and putting it together before they, take the mask off, so to speak, or kind of literally in one of the cases. But yeah, those are the things that I liked about the film. And then a few things that are kind of in my mixed category I didn't care for as much. I thought the rest of the cast was fine. Again, I think they're playing characters that aren't really meant to be likable. So I think they do a good job of that. But yeah, no no standouts. I mean, for other than I thought Guy Pearce and Liam Neeson did a really good job. Everyone else nobody else was bad or anything, but they were fine. And I thought, I commented on the music for the last scene. So one of my mixed things is that there was no music that I noticed throughout the whole film. So kind of the lack of a soundtrack is, just it's a mark off in my book. And for it being an action movie, I thought the action was fine, but there were no like super awesome action sequences that, usually I'd say action movies try to go for at least one or two of those, but this movie really didn't have any of those. So if that's what you're going to see, it's not that there's no action. It's fine. There's just no it's not trying to be John Wick as far as, height of action that way. And it certainly doesn't achieve that, and it doesn't even try. So just, I'd say, keep that in mind going into the film. And then the last thing that I didn't really care for was that, well, it's just kind of mixed. Like the stakes are pretty low throughout this film. Like there isn't, I kind of kept waiting for it to turn into something bigger, and it never really did. But that's fine. Not every movie needs to turn into that. So there again, I'd say just check your expectations at the door. Not that I really had any expectations, but kind of as the movie is going along, it felt like one of those movies that would, like, oh, this case is going to get rolled into this much larger case, and kind of your point of view expands. But yeah, it didn't really do that. So that kind of sums up the things that I liked about the film, and the things that I didn't. Overall, I thought this is okay. It was fine. I like. It's not one that I'd say is fun, but it's also not like a movie I walked out and said, yeah, that's a good movie. But I'd give it a solid B just for the type of movie that it is, being, an action movie. It felt kind of fresh. It felt fresh enough for being this type of movie. And yeah, I think you know what you're going to get going into this movie. It's a Liam Neeson action movie, probably better than some of the other ones that I've seen. So if that sounds like a movie for you, I'd say, yeah, go see it. You'll probably like it. But if it sounds like it's not a movie for you, then it's probably not a movie for you. So I'd say just kind of, yeah, you know what you're getting with this film. So base your decision to go see it accordingly. But yeah, that does it for my review for Memory. If you've had a chance to see Memory, definitely share your thoughts in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this review, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Alright, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next review.